Hey, what's up guys? Tony here, and here is a game of, I believe it's going to be Battlefield. I'm not sure, but in my head right now I think it's Battlefield. I'm recording this before I put the video together, so I'm not entirely sure what's going to be playing in the background. So whatever it is, I know you guys will enjoy it. But I want to do a commentary today that I talked about several weeks ago. Those of you who follow me on Twitter will remember I put out a tweet about death and how I wanted to do a commentary about it. And that night, I actually sat down and I did a commentary about it. But the thing, though, is that the topic is so broad and it's so vast. I just started talking, and I started talking, and then it got to this like totally abstract place where it was just everything was just crazy, and it was sort of like I had transitioned from like death into like space time, and all of a sudden I was talking about science, you know. To give you an example before I get into the commentary for reals, to give you an example, what I did is I talked about if you lay in your bed at night and you try to turn off all of your senses, you know, you just close your eyes and hopefully you're sitting in a quiet place and you can just lay there in the darkness and let your mind wander, and the more you let your mind wander and think about things like, for me, what I was talking about was space. So I was using that as an example. One night I sat in my bed and I was thinking about space, and then I was thinking about like what it would be like to fly through space, and then what it would be like to fly to the edges of space, to where we don't know how far space goes. You know, there's theories about how far space goes. But the further I let my mind travel into space, I realized that my brain had a hard time comprehending what it would be like to just go. And go and go and go. And go until you can't go anymore because you're dead. You know, there's just only so far you can go before you die, because you're going to run out of lifeline. You're going to run out of time. But you're still never going to reach the end. And as I was laying in bed, my mind is just like, I can't take those thoughts. And I kind of sort of snapped myself out of what I was doing because I had to. I just couldn't mentally take it anymore. And the reason why is because here we are on Earth, and we are used to physical limitations of how far we can go. You can only go so far before you hit a barrier. You can only go so far before you're coming back around again. You can fly half across the world, but once you get to that certain point, suddenly you're on your way home. And sooner or later, if you were to walk across the world, you're eventually going to come back to where you began your journey. So you can't just go. You can go places and come back, but you just can't go. And so like I said, I use that as sort of an example to talk about like death, like time. It's sort of the same sort of concept. I couldn't get my head wrapped around the infinite, the endlessness of space. And so that's the same with time. Time is the same with distance and space and stuff, is that we're used to 24-hour clocks. The sun rises and it sets, and the moon rises and it sets, and it's this cycle, this cyclical process that we go through, and we're comfortable with time. We know that time comes and it goes. And then when you start to think about death, and you start to think about your consciousness, and you start to think about a limitless amount of time, in the same sort of situation that you're thinking about space, suddenly your brain is just like, oh my god, I can't deal with that because I'm used to these constraints in time and place. You know, we're used to this existence. And so that journey took me on this path, and it was one of those just like crazy moments, and I think I might still have it. I don't know, maybe I deleted it, but I figured I should do the commentary over again. And here I am already 4.5 minutes into this commentary, and I have yet to get to the point of what I want to talk about. So now that I've totally prefaced this commentary by telling you about the last one that I didn't post, let's get into this one. Now, the reason why I think the other one failed and I opted not to use it is because of the fact that there was no point to the commentary. There was no end result, no talking point. No focal point, that's the best way to put it. So there's no focal point to the commentary. But now I do have one. I thought about this, and it came towards the end of the class, and it's about euthanasia, and it's about one's own right to die. Now, if you don't know what euthanasia is, basically it's assisted suicide is basically what it amounts to. It's usually like a medical assisted suicide, like a doctor will give you morphine until you die, and it's not because he's a murderous person. It's because of the fact that you want to die, but you're in a hospital situation, and the hospital's there to keep you alive. So that's what I want to talk about. And I have conflicting feelings on this topic, and I know that a lot of people are going to have conflicting feelings on this too, because as a nation, and I'm speaking from an American standpoint, as a nation, one of our founding tenets is the right to life. It's in there. You have the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. The very first thing, you have that right to live. And when people think like, oh, well, for an example, you shouldn't kill somebody. If you kill somebody, it's against the law. And it's funny because killing somebody infringes upon their right to life. So you have violated their right to life, I mean, it's the law. You can't kill anybody. You don't kill anybody. But when you think about it, if you're to go back to the tenets of our country, the reason why murdering somebody is illegal is because you're taking away their right to life. And so there are states in this union of ours that have it's illegal to kill yourself. And we kind of scratch your head because, like, if you kill yourself, then but are you gonna put the body in jail? What's the point? I know it's there to scare people, like, oh my God, I'm gonna commit a crime if I kill myself. And then there are those, like, a religious aspect to it. Those of you who are of whatever faith you are. If you kill yourself, then you go to whatever damnation that you're gonna go to. And so there are those things lingering over your head. So my thing is, though, is that I do believe in the thing is that we do have a right to life. We have a right to live. But if it's our right to live, should it not also be our right to die? Should we be in a time where if you're dying of cancer and there's nothing you can do and you're in excruciating pain and you're at that point where you're ready to go? I don't know what that feeling would feel like personally, but I know from experience my grandfather reached that point when he was passing away. He died of cancer in 2007, and he reached a point where he didn't want to live anymore, and basically what happened is he was given enough morphine to pass away, and so that's what happened. He passed away in his sleep, not in pain. So from my own perspective, if somebody is willing to die, if they want to die, I think they should be given that right. And I'm not sure how you guys feel. It's kind of an abridged commentary, to be honest, because here I'm already on 8.5 minutes. But the other aspect of it is the physician-assisted suicide, where you have a doctor who is going to administer some sort of there's a physician-assisted suicide, and then there's assisted suicide, which basically is, instead of a physician giving you something like some sort of a medication or something that puts you to sleep, that sounds like a dog, like you put to sleep, but that you die, somebody gives you something and it's just like, okay, this will put you under, you won't have any more feelings, you'll die, basically. If it's a pill or whatever. I remember this really famous House episode where House reads a paper for his buddy. I can't remember the doctor's name right now, but basically it's a physician-assisted suicide situation where the cancer patient is ready to die, but because of the moral world, the ethical world that doctors live in, he can't just help him die. So he tells the nurse, this is a code for the morphine machine, and he pretty much like outlines how to use the morphine machine to the patient, like how to up the dosage, how to kill yourself, and he makes it available, and the patient does that, and they do this whole paper on it, and you see the doctors, like some of them are just flabbergasted, like, oh my god, I can't believe this doctor did that, while others are like, hey, you know what, that's good. And so I guess the point of the commentary is, what do you guys think? You know, I like thought-provoking commentaries, and I like to bring you guys this. I like to think about stuff that, not death, but I like to think about these thought-provoking, these moral quandaries. I mean, do you guys think that it's okay? I mean, do we live? I mean, and I'm trying to get a judge on this newest generation here, the people who are younger than me, and here I am, 29 years old. You know, the people who are coming up who are 18 and up. Those people are sort of the barometer for what might change in our country in the future. So I'm trying to get just like an idea in the comment section. Let's have a discussion. Do you guys think, look, you know, you have the right to life and the right to death. You know, you can decide to die whenever you want to, or it's one of those things where it's a moral, religious issue where you think that only God has that right to decide when it's time to go. Which is kind of weird because doctors do everything they can, everything in their power to keep you alive. That's their job, to prolong life as long as possible. So anyways, I'm looking forward to the comments in the comment section, and thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, and I'll talk to you later.